Today, I want to invite you to join me in a little thought experiment. Picture this. 5, 10, or even 20 years from now, your mind is still as sharp and clear as it is today. You can easily remember your grandchildren's birthdays, the names of new friends you meet, and even every word to those favorite songs from your youth. Imagine your vision remaining steady, allowing you to see clearly the smiles on your grandchildren's faces, and still being able to comfortably read a good book as the sun sets on another beautiful day. Now imagine there's a way, a simple, delicious method backed by cutting-edge science that could help you slow down those signs of aging we all worry about, keeping you vibrant and energized for every new chapter of your life. Does this sound too good to be true? Like one of those perfect promises that never quite deliver? Well, the reality is, this promise is real, and it's hidden in a fruit we're all familiar with: blueberries. Yes, those small, deep blueberries that grow on local farms and fill our markets. But here's where things get tricky, and this is absolutely crucial to understand. There's a trap, a critical mistake that almost everyone is making without even realizing it. In my years of research, I've discovered a shocking truth. The vast majority of people are unknowingly sabotaging the incredible benefits that blueberries can provide. What's worse, some common ways of eating them might actually be speeding up the oxidation and aging process in our bodies. This has nothing to do with how many blueberries you eat, and everything to do with how you eat them. It's simply because people are pairing blueberries with the wrong foods, or eating them at the wrong times. So today, I'm going to reveal 5 key, scientifically proven benefits that blueberries can provide for your brain and body. We're not talking in general terms here. We're going deep, right down to the cellular level, to understand exactly how this works. Then, and this is the most important part, I'll reveal the 3 most common, potentially devastating mistakes that could make all your efforts completely worthless. The third mistake is particularly sneaky, and it happens almost every single day. I promise you, in the next 35 minutes or so, the information you're about to receive will completely change how you think about this superfruit. This isn't just health information. This is your strategic guide to reclaiming your body's vitality and achieving a dignified, purposeful life in your golden years. Please, make sure you stay with me until the very end. So let's begin. Before we dive in, I'd like you to do something simple. In the comments below, tell me where you're from and how young you feel inside. This question is directly related to what we're discussing today because it touches on both our biological age and, more importantly, our mindset age. I'm really looking forward to seeing your responses. Now, let's get into our main topic. The first and most well-known benefit of blueberries is that they serve as superfuel and protection for our brains. Many of us, once we hit our 40s or 50s, start having these experiences. You walk into a room and suddenly forget what you came there to do. Or someone you've known for years, their name is right on the tip of your tongue, but you just can't recall it. These momentary lapses, sometimes called brain fog, are early warning signs that our brains are calling for help. And there's a key substance in blueberries, called anthocyanins, that's perfectly designed to tackle this problem. In a comprehensive study published in the journal Advances in Nutrition, scientists reviewed nearly 200 high-quality research papers from the past decade. One particular study from the famous Nurses' Health Study, which followed over 16,000 women long-term, reached a stunning conclusion. Women who regularly consumed blueberries and strawberries experienced cognitive decline that was slowed by an average of 2.5 years. What does this mean? It means that when you're 70 years old, your brain could still be functioning like it did when you were 67.5. Those 2.5 years represent high-quality, sharp thinking time that's absolutely priceless. So how do anthocyanins accomplish this remarkable feat? Imagine your brain as an incredibly sophisticated network of billions of nerve cells, or neurons. Information travels between these neurons like electricity flowing through complex circuits. Every time this happens, it requires energy and produces some metabolic waste, with the most notorious being what we call free radicals. Think of free radicals as tiny sparks constantly jumping around in your electrical circuits. Under normal circumstances, your body's antioxidant system acts like a fire department, quickly putting out these sparks. But as we age, or when we're chronically stressed, sleep deprived, or eating poorly, this fire department becomes less efficient. More and more sparks appear, and they start burning the circuit boards, which are your nerve cells. This process is called oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is one of the root causes of memory decline and slower thinking. The anthocyanins in blueberries act like the most powerful firefighter reinforcements you could ask for. When they enter our bodies, they can cross something called the blood-brain barrier. This is your brain's incredibly strict security system that only allows very few substances to pass through. Once anthocyanins get into your brain, they directly neutralize these harmful free radicals, protecting your neurons from damage. But that's not all anthocyanins can do. Follow-up research has shown they can accomplish even more. At the University of Cincinnati Academic Health Center, Dr. Robert Krikorian led a clinical study where they gave people with early memory problems blueberry juice every day for 12 weeks. The results were truly remarkable. Using functional magnetic resonance imaging, or fMRI technology, scientists observed that when these participants performed memory challenges, the blood oxygen level dependent signals in the brain regions responsible for cognitive function were significantly enhanced. In simple terms, their brain activity became more active and efficient. This shows that blueberries don't just passively protect the brain, they actively improve brain function. So the first benefit is significantly delaying cognitive decline through powerful antioxidant action and improved brain activity, keeping your mind young and sharp. Now let's look at the second benefit. This one might be more important for your long-term health than you realize. It's blueberries' amazing ability to maintain cardiovascular health. Our heart and vascular system is like a city's water supply network. The pipes must stay clean and flexible for water to flow smoothly. If the pipes rust, get clogged, or become stiff, the entire city grinds to a halt. Our bodies work the same way. High blood pressure, high cholesterol, and hardening of the arteries are all destroying our supply network. In that same comprehensive review in Advances in Nutrition, a cohort study involving over 87,000 participants showed that people with the highest intake of anthocyanins had a 10% lower risk of developing high blood pressure. Another study had results that really impressed me. Researchers found that young and middle-aged women who ate 3 or more servings of blueberries per week had a 32% lower risk of heart attack compared to women who rarely ate blueberries. 32%. That is a significant protective effect and a powerful finding in nutrition research. How does this work? Scientists have found that blueberries work on at least 3 different levels. First, they improve what's called endothelial function in blood vessels. The inner lining of our blood vessels has a thin layer of cells called the vascular endothelium. This isn't just simple wallpaper. It's an intelligent control center that actively secretes substances and regulates blood vessel contraction and expansion. It secretes something called nitric oxide, or NO, which helps blood vessels relax and dilate, thereby lowering blood pressure. As we age, endothelial function declines, nitric oxide secretion decreases, and blood vessels become stiff. The anthocyanins in blueberries can significantly boost nitric oxide levels, helping blood vessels regain the flexibility they had when we were young. In a randomized controlled trial with postmenopausal women, participants who ate blueberries daily showed clear improvement in arterial stiffness. Second, they regulate blood fats. Many people know that low-density lipoprotein, or LDL, the so-called bad cholesterol, is the culprit behind atherosclerosis. But more accurately, it's oxidized bad cholesterol that's truly destructive. Unoxidized LDL is like a regular truck transporting materials through your blood vessels. But when it's oxidized by free radicals, it becomes like an out-of-control, burning truck that crashes directly into blood vessel walls, causing inflammation and plaque formation. The antioxidant action of blueberries plays a crucial role here again. They protect LDL from being oxidized, preventing plaque formation at the source. Clinical studies have confirmed that consuming blueberries or purified anthocyanins can effectively lower LDL levels while raising high-density lipoprotein, or HDL, the good cholesterol levels. Third, they fight inflammation. Chronic inflammation is the common driving force behind cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and even cancer. It's like a continuous, low-grade forest fire slowly consuming our bodies. The polyphenolic compounds in blueberries have powerful anti-inflammatory properties, suppressing the production of various inflammatory factors in the body and helping to put out this fire. So blueberries' second benefit is building a solid line of defense for our hearts and blood vessels by improving vascular flexibility, optimizing blood fats, and suppressing inflammation. Next is the third benefit. This one is closely related to everyone's weight and metabolism. Blueberries help with weight management and preventing type 2 diabetes. In America, nearly 100 million adults are either pre-diabetic or already have type 2 diabetes. At the core of this problem is insulin resistance. Our body's cells become less sensitive to insulin's signal to absorb blood sugar. Imagine insulin is the key to your front door, and blood sugar represents guests who need to come inside. Insulin resistance is like that key getting rusty and having trouble opening the door lock. So lots of guests get stuck outside, in our bloodstream, causing high blood sugar. Multiple large-scale observational studies have found that blueberries have the strongest association with reducing type 2 diabetes risk among all common fruits. In a data analysis that combined 3 major prospective studies, scientists found that people who habitually ate blueberries had a 26% lower risk of developing type 2 diabetes. What's the mechanism behind this? Research shows that active compounds in blueberries can improve cellular insulin sensitivity. In other words, they can clean the rust off that key and oil it up so it can easily open the door lock again, helping blood sugar smoothly enter cells. A clinical study with obese, insulin-resistant adults confirmed that after 6 weeks of blueberry intervention, participants showed significant improvement in insulin sensitivity. Beyond the direct effects on blood sugar, blueberries' role in weight management is equally impressive. We usually think weight gain happens because we consume more calories than we burn. But that's only part of the story. The deeper reason lies in our body's metabolic environment. In a study that tracked over 120,000 adults for 24 years, researchers compared the weight effects of 16 common fruits. They found that people who consumed the most blueberries had the least weight gain over 4 years. In fact, every additional 10 milligrams of anthocyanins was associated with preventing 0.1 kilograms of weight gain. This might not seem like much, but remember, this is over a 24-year time period. Small daily changes accumulate into huge differences. A very interesting twin study revealed even more information. Researchers observed over 2,700 female identical twins. Since their genes are almost identical and their living environments are similar, this provided an excellent window to observe the independent effects of diet. The results showed that in each twin pair, the one who consumed more anthocyanins had significantly lower body fat percentage than her sister. This powerfully proves that blueberries' benefits for weight and body composition go beyond genetics and shared living environments. They may help us maintain healthier weight through multiple pathways, including regulating gut bacteria and reducing inflammation in fat cells. So the third benefit is becoming our powerful ally against type 2 diabetes and obesity by improving insulin sensitivity and helping with weight management. Now let's talk about the fourth benefit. This one might surprise you because it goes beyond what we usually understand as antioxidant effects. Blueberries may protect our DNA through something called epigenetics. This concept might sound complicated, but let me explain with an analogy. Imagine your DNA as an enormous encyclopedia containing all your life information. Every word in this book is fixed. These are your genes. But which chapters you actually read, which sections get highlighted with a marker, and which chapters get tagged as temporarily ignore, these can change. This mechanism of controlling whether genes are turned on or off by tagging DNA without changing the DNA sequence itself, is called epigenetics. One of the most important types of tags is DNA methylation. Think of methyl groups as tiny switches. When a gene's promoter region gets tagged with lots of methyl switches, that gene usually gets turned off and stops being expressed. Conversely, if these switches are removed, the gene gets turned on. This process is crucial for our health. It's like a precision symphony conductor, ensuring the right genetic music plays at the right time and place. However, we now know that many environmental factors, like stress, radiation, and even the foods we eat, can affect how these methyl switches are arranged. A study published in the International Journal of Molecular Sciences, although it used yeast as test subjects, revealed a universal biological principle. When cells are exposed to various physical and chemical stresses for extended periods, their DNA methylation levels change significantly. This is usually a protective response, but if it gets out of control, it can lead to chaotic gene expression, potentially causing various diseases and accelerating aging. What does this have to do with blueberries? The connection is huge, because the oxidative stress we mentioned earlier, those free radical sparks, are key stress factors that cause abnormal DNA methylation patterns. The anthocyanins in blueberries, by neutralizing free radicals, don't just protect cell membranes and proteins. They're protecting our DNA command system at the source. They help maintain stable DNA methylation patterns, ensuring our genes continue to express themselves according to normal, youthful patterns. This is a deeper level of protection, fighting aging from the operating system level of our life blueprint. It explains why blueberries' benefits are so widespread, from brain to heart to metabolism, because they work on a very fundamental shared life mechanism. So the fourth benefit is fundamentally slowing the aging process by protecting the epigenetic stability of our DNA. Now for the fifth, and what I personally consider the most special benefit. It relates to our second brain, our gut. In the past decade, the scientific community's understanding of the gut microbiome has been completely revolutionized. We now know that the trillions of microorganisms living in our intestines don't just help us digest food. They also regulate our immune systems, influence our moods, and even determine how we respond to certain medications. A healthy gut microecology should be diverse and balanced, like a thriving rainforest with various species living in harmony. An unhealthy gut is more like barren land dominated by a single crop, very fragile. Blueberries play the role of rainforest gardeners here. Blueberries don't just contain anthocyanins, they're also rich in dietary fiber. We can't digest these fibers ourselves, but they're delicious food for the beneficial bacteria in our guts. After these beneficial bacteria enjoy these fibers, they produce some very beneficial byproducts for us, like short-chain fatty acids, or SCFAs. Short-chain fatty acids are the primary energy source for our colon cells. They maintain the integrity of the intestinal barrier, preventing harmful substances from leaking into the bloodstream, which is called leaky gut. At the same time, they have powerful anti-inflammatory effects throughout the body. But this is where the story just starts getting really exciting. Scientists have discovered that anthocyanins from blueberries, when they reach the colon, have amazing interactions with our gut bacteria. On one hand, anthocyanins themselves can promote the growth of beneficial bacteria, like bacteria that produce butyrate, and a superstar bacterium called Akkermansia muciniphila, or ACK bacteria for short. ACK bacteria specifically feed on the mucus layer on our intestinal walls and stimulate intestinal wall cells to produce more new mucus. This sounds like they're eating our intestines, but actually, it's a beneficial cycle that makes our intestinal barrier thicker and stronger. Research has found that ACK bacteria abundance is closely associated with lower levels of obesity, diabetes, and inflammation. On the other hand, our gut bacteria also transform anthocyanins. They break down these large molecules that our small intestines can't completely absorb into various smaller, more bioactive phenolic acid metabolites. These small molecules are more easily absorbed by our bodies and enter blood circulation, going throughout the body to work, including in our brains. You could say this is a perfect win-win cooperation. Blueberries nourish our beneficial bacteria, and beneficial bacteria unlock deeper health potential from blueberries. In an animal study, when researchers gave high-fat diet rats blueberry supplements, they not only observed improvements in inflammation and insulin resistance, but through genetic sequencing, they discovered significant, beneficial changes in their gut bacteria structure. So the fifth and most exciting benefit is that blueberries, by nourishing our gut microbiome, establish a health axis from the gut to the immune system to the brain, rebuilding our health ecology from the inside. Alright, we've just explored in detail blueberries, 5 amazing benefits protecting the brain, guarding the heart, regulating blood sugar, stabilizing genes, and optimizing the gut. Now it's time to reveal those 3 critical, potentially devastating mistakes that could make all your efforts completely worthless. Please listen carefully, because you might be making these right now. The first critical mistake is eating blueberries with large amounts of dairy products, especially milk. I know this might sound unbelievable. Blueberry milk, blueberry yogurt, blueberry smoothies. These are all very popular combinations. Many people make a blueberry milk smoothie for breakfast, thinking it's a very healthy choice. But the problem lies with a protein in milk called casein. Multiple in vitro studies, meaning laboratory studies, have shown that casein has a tendency to bind with polyphenolic compounds, including anthocyanins. This binding forms a complex that greatly reduces the bioavailability of anthocyanins, meaning the proportion our bodies can actually absorb and use. While the scientific community is still conducting more research on the exact extent of this effect in the human body, the underlying chemical principle is clear. It's like hiring a top engineer, the anthocyanins, to repair your precision equipment, your body's cells, but then dressing him in a very heavy protective suit, the casein, that makes him clumsy and unable to effectively do his job. You're still consuming blueberries, but you might only be absorbing a small fraction of their benefits. So what's the solution? It's very simple. Try to separate your blueberry and dairy consumption by at least 1 hour. If you really love smoothies, try substituting plant-based milks for cow's milk, like almond milk, oat milk, or coconut milk. These plant milks don't contain casein and won't interfere with anthocyanin absorption. Or you could choose Greek yogurt. While it's still a dairy product, after fermentation and straining, its casein structure and content are different from regular milk, and some research suggests its negative impact might be less. But the safest choice is still to eat them separately. So remember the first mistake: avoid consuming blueberries with large amounts of milk at the same time, to prevent reducing absorption of their key compounds. Now for the second critical mistake: obsessing over fresh while ignoring quality and form. Many people have this belief that fresh is always best. For many vegetables and fruits, this is true. But for blueberries, the situation is more complex. What we should pursue isn't the fresh label, but maximizing anthocyanin content. First, about quality. Were the blueberries you bought harvested when they were fully ripe, displaying that deep, uniform blue-purple color? Or were they picked while still showing red or green, harvested early to facilitate long-distance shipping? Anthocyanins in blueberries are largely synthesized during the final stages of ripening, under sunlight. A blueberry that naturally ripened on the branch versus one artificially ripened in a warehouse could have several times the difference in anthocyanin content. So when possible, choose local, in-season, fully ripe blueberries. Second, and more importantly, is about form. Many people don't know that properly frozen blueberries might actually have higher health value than fresh blueberries that have been shipped long distances and sat on supermarket shelves for several days. By properly frozen, I mean IQF, or individual quick freezing technology. This technology can use extremely low temperatures to instantly freeze blueberries within the golden few hours after they're picked. This process maximally locks in the anthocyanins and vitamins in blueberries, preventing oxidation and degradation. More interestingly, the freezing process creates tiny ice crystals in blueberry cell walls. These ice crystals break down cell structures, making anthocyanins easier to release when we eat them. Some studies even suggest that frozen blueberries might have higher effective anthocyanin content than fresh ones. So don't be prejudiced against frozen blueberries. Choose reputable brands that can usually guarantee optimal picking and freezing processes. What you really need to watch out for are processed blueberry products. Things like blueberry jam, blueberry juice, and blueberry-flavored baked goods. During processing, high temperatures and oxidation seriously destroy anthocyanins. Even worse, they usually contain large amounts of refined sugar, which completely cancels out, or even overwhelms, any health benefits blueberries might provide. So the second mistake is misunderstanding the best form. Don't blindly worship fresh. Learn to choose high-quality ripe blueberries, and boldly embrace properly frozen blueberries. At the same time, firmly stay away from over-processed, sugary blueberry products. Now for the third, most hidden and most widespread critical mistake: irregular, compensatory consumption. Many people eat blueberries like this. They might hear about blueberries' benefits, so on a whim, they buy a big container on the weekend and eat it all in one day. Then for the next 2 weeks, or even a month, they don't touch them again. They think this concentrated supplementation approach can make up for their usual deficiency. This is a huge misunderstanding. The way our bodies process anthocyanins, these water-soluble polyphenols, is very similar to how we process vitamin C. They have relatively short half-lives in the body. This means that within a few hours of consuming large amounts, blood anthocyanin concentrations reach a peak, then get metabolized and eliminated by the body. When you eat an entire container of blueberries at once, your body can only absorb and use a limited amount. Most of it gets wasted. It's like trying to charge your phone with a week's worth of electricity all at once, which is impossible. You have to charge it every day. Our body's antioxidant and anti-inflammatory systems don't need a one-time flood, but rather continuous, steady support. All those long-term studies we mentioned earlier that reached amazing conclusions, they all emphasized, without exception, regular and habitual consumption. It's about several times per week, not once per month. Regular consumption allows your body to maintain consistently high antioxidant levels, allows your vascular endothelial cells to receive continuous nitric oxide nourishment, and gives your gut bacteria a stable, high-quality food source. This continuity creates compound effects that no one-time compensatory binge can match. So what's the optimal strategy? Integrate blueberries into your daily life. Don't treat them as a supplement you need to deliberately take, but as a delicious, everyday food. A small handful each day, about 1/3 to half a cup, is enough. You can add them to your oatmeal, sprinkle them on your salad, or just have them as an afternoon snack. The key is consistency. Make this consistency an effortless habit. So the third, and most important mistake, is using compensatory binge eating instead of regular nourishment. Remember, health is a marathon, not a 100-meter dash. Consistency is always more important than intensity. Alright, today we've explored together blueberries, 5 amazing benefits and 3 critical mistakes. We learned that blueberries can protect our brains and hearts like guardians, help us regulate blood sugar, stabilize our genes, and optimize our gut microecology. We also understand that to maximize these benefits, we need to avoid eating them with milk, learn to choose truly high-quality blueberries, whether ripe fresh blueberries or properly frozen ones, and most importantly, make them a long-term, regular part of our diet. I'm sharing this not just to tell you what you should eat. I hope to provide you with a way of thinking, a way of combining the latest science with our daily lives, thereby building a more vibrant, dignified, and empowered life for ourselves. As we always emphasize, our goal isn't to passively get old, but to actively age gracefully. If you found today's content inspiring, I sincerely invite you to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Because in the future, I'll continue bringing you more scientifically based, clear, actionable advice like this, helping you step by step build your own health system. Finally, I want to thank you again for your time. Health is the most precious gift we can give ourselves and our families. I hope today's sharing can become part of that gift.